Hello, welcome to another quickie from IGManagerTV. This is the quickie for January 16th, 2013, and this is BRdata CSV import. Now this quickie is really only for dealers who are building a new IGManager site. If you're not a dealer and you're a store user, you probably just need to skip this. If you want to see what we do, you can, but this is really just for, as the screen says, for support personnel only. Please don't try this on your system at the store and then call me up later saying you broke something. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin. First of all, the import, there's a couple different CSV imports that we have in IGManager. We actually have a specific CSV import for BRdata's CSV, or their master CSV export file. And that file looks like this when you bring it up in Word Notepad. You'll see it's got a huge number of files and a number of fields across the top, and you end up with all this stuff. But this is the file format that we can read in natively. Like I said, we have other CSV import file formats that you could use. You can move these fields around and make your own import and use one of the CSV 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? But in this case we have one specifically for BRdata, so that's the file. So let me go ahead and go into IGManager here. Okay. Ignore that, I'm on a system. Now my system here right now has no item file whatsoever. What it is, I'm up to help and utilities. I'm going to put in a password, and I'm not going to tell you what that password is because you should know that if you're a dealer. When we come up to the extra screen, we're going to go down here to imports and exports. Then we have another import button and even more buttons. Flat file ASCII, which is where all of the CSVs are hiding. Bring it up here. We got all these wonderful tabs here. We're going to go to the BRdata tab. We're going to BRdata CSV. Now remember, this is that Uber CSV format that BRdata has. I think the option's kind of in the middle of all the options you get for BRdata export. I don't know for sure because I don't actually use BRdata, but I have seen the screen and I think it was in the middle. So before I go ahead and click on anything, I have this one option here, this create master links during import. In some cases, most stores have items linked together for pricing controls. I like the 2-liter Pepsis, the Jellos, cat foods, that type of stuff. If they have that, BRdata used a link code in the items to link the items together. IGManager has masters and slaves. So if you put this click on, when I see the link code coming through, I'm going to catch that. On the first item I see the link code on, I'm going to catch that. If I see when I see another item with that link code, I'm going to link the second item to that first item. So we're going to end up with masters that may not be what you expect, but at least it'll start out. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about, what we read in when we do this. There are some more that I'm going to do actually as we read it in. The other thing to mention is that this CSV file has to be, you can't have it opened by anybody. So it has to be free to open, exclusive for IGManager. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this button for import CSV. I got some little debug message there, no big deal. Now it's asking me for the file. I'm going to go ahead and click on BRdata CSV, which is the way the guy sent it to me. Open. And you can see it's counting through the file. It's going through, as best as it can because it is, building these items. Now, this import is going into our import hold function, not going directly into the item file. So once this is done, we're still going to have nothing in the item file. We need to use the wholesaler interface update items to get the data out. Some more things it's doing here. It's there's a thing with some of the back rooms and dealing with IBM where they tell everybody to put everything in a mix match. Well, that's lovely, except that with IGManager, mix match is actually controlled pricing unless they're above 100. So the other thing this import is going to do is if an item is in mix match 5, it's going to change that to mix match 105, which means IGManager won't care about it, but it will pass down the mix match code of 5 on that item. Really, you should probably, after you get the system running and you might want to start cleaning up all that, because it's going to make the screens kind of funky. And that's the best we can do, trying to come in from one system and another. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to try to read in as many flags as we can. That's tax status, food stamp status. We're going to try to read in the I just lost it. Restrictions, WIC flag. Now this import, as of today, assumes you're coming from a BRdata site that was running IBM and you're replacing the IBM or just the BRdata with IGManager, because there are different fields in the BRdata file for other point of sales like Scan Master and ACS and a bunch of other ones that this import's not going to see. If you are importing a file from a site that's running another point of sale other than IBM, contact me and we'll see what we can do about getting that information. The other, one thing that this is not doing when we import in, it's not going to build the department file in IGManager with the defaults for taxes and stuff, because BRdata and a couple other backrooms don't care about matching department with tax statuses like IGManager does. So this is going to read in whatever you're being given from BRdata and we'll set those flags. If you are doing a site that's converting from BRdata to IGManager, once you get all the imports done, I'd highly recommend that you do the first point of sale send, which is going to send all 4 billion items. Don't actually get that to the register. Leave the register as it was the last BRdata update. That way, if we have a flag problem, you can check that on a couple test items. Okay, as we can see, my import is done because it stopped counting up. So I'm going to go ahead and close this here. And like I said, this is actually in the import hold feature, so we go to the wholesaler interface and we can review the data. Now, let me go back to what this might look like if you open it up without any changes. See item code. Now, current description and current size are blank because, guess what? These items aren't in the file yet because I don't have them. Alright. Just like any other IGManager thing, you can right-click and have a different format if you want to look at them like this. Over here, and of course there's different training on the import hold reviewer, so I can just bring up this item here and just look at what's coming in from this record. This is tax A and food stampable. Alright. Now, before we click on update items, especially if this is a new IGManager install, there's a couple settings that'll make your life a heck of a lot better when you do this wholesaler interface update. I'm going to go ahead and move my picture over here. If you go to the wholesaler interface button, there's a whole bunch of options here. What's going to make your life better for this first import is you're going to want to say stream item file on update, which means that we're going to allow the right behind cache of the hard drive to keep the file updated. Turn off if it's turned on, update rollback on update. We don't need to keep track of what it was before because it doesn't exist yet. Okay. Update immediately after import. That's the skip zero department warning. If you've got crap in this file that's got zero department, you don't want to have to keep coming up with this warning, zero department, zero department, zero department, zero. So you're going to want to turn that one on. I'm going to actually go ahead and do that. Some other. That's about all we want. But if you have these settings, your import's going to go a lot faster. If you do not turn on this, if you don't turn on stream and you leave rollback on, you might as well go home and come back in a week if you've got 100,000 items to update. It's going to take it a heck of a long time to read it in. So now that I got my changes, I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm going to go ahead and click on update. Yes, I know I'm bringing in everything. And because we have stream turned on and we're not up, okay. Don't worry about you're going to get all kinds of weird, you're going to get probably a couple weird department messages because you don't have anything yet. Because we have the stream and we're not updating rollback, This is going faster. If stream was not on and rollback was turned on, you'd be seeing 10 or 21, 30, 40. You get the picture? Okay. So, and this is actually running slow. One, because if you've watched any of the videos, this is Bertha, and Bertha has her own issues. She's an older computer, but she's a reliable computer, so I keep using her. Also, we're doing this video capture while we're importing these files. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn down my picture here. See if we can, I'm going to pause the video for a moment while we do this. Alright, we're coming down to the home stretch on this import. One of the other reasons why this is going at the speed it is that we're not just updating the item file, we're also updating the cost information from the items that are coming in, and we're also, even though we're streaming the item file, we're still actually writing, we're still updating the indexes as they happen. So this isn't that fast. This is actually not that slow. It's just a little slower in this demo. And like I said, this import is not the end-all import to get a system working from IGManager, from BRdata to IGManager. This is just going to get the item file as best we can. This does look for, I think BRdata has 2 levels of sale pricing in an item or whatever. We read 2 of those and we put them in the right thing. So whatever is the most important one in BRdata becomes TPR in ours, and the other one becomes sale. So that way we have some sort of congruency between the things coming in. Also, when you're in IGManager, be warned, a lot of people in BRdata like to just put an end date on a sale. So that's going to make for some weird looking screens sometimes. But the system will still read if you have an item that has no start date, which is effectively back in January 1st, 1901 or something like that, till whatever, it'll actually still be on sale. So we've go ahead and we finished our import. So let's go ahead and bring up the items. Now we have items. We didn't have items before, now we do. And you'll see here everybody has a mix match no matter what. I do see that we ended up with mix match 100. I'll look at the code, maybe we can fix that for later, but right now that won't hurt anything. Just going to send a mix match code to 0 down the IBM, and how it's going to go, I don't care. If we look quickly here, this item file actually only has one. This item file looks like they might have attempted doing links once and then never really took it on. So I only could find one item in this file that's actually linked. So here is this Pepsi. We got the record not found, so I don't have the department struck yet. Actually, I'm sorry. Which one did I click on? There we go. Alright. So, this item is controlled by a master. You'll notice that the master ended up being this Mountain Dew throwback. If you look at the numbers, 3245 comes before 5045, whatever. So, this was the first item we hit with whatever link code this was. So, he became the master. And of course, you can find masters and slaves by the master list. And of course, in this one, we're not going to find very many. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I could be wrong. I only looked very quickly through the file. Once again, Bertha, slower. Recording a video, you'll be much faster, especially on a wonderful 8-core 64-bit Windows base. Now I got 2 whopping. Woo! Whoopee! We have mug root beer and the Pepsi guy. So that's all I got out of this file. Obviously, if they've actually been doing that in their system, you'll get more of those. Okay, so like I said, this is going to get us an item file. What you want to do is make sure that if you're going to, if you're using this in a store that's already live and you're converting from BRdata to IGManager, import the file, get all your stuff right, and that first send that's going to send everything because it has to, don't let that get to the IBM. let that just build the file and mess with the change your script so it doesn't actually get sent, and then do some test sends with some items to make sure everything is okay. If you run into something with weird flags, give us a call. We'll see what we can do about fixing it. So once again, this was a IGManagerTV, a quick E on BRdata import, and for dealers only. Thank you very much.